President Barack Obama appointed Julia Pearson as the next director of the U.S. Secret Service on Tuesday, making her the first woman to ever hold that role. The administration confirmed that Obama had picked Pearson, the current chief of staff for the Secret Service, to lead the agency that, among other things, is tasked with protecting the president, Vice President Joe Biden, the first family, and other designees. Now here's George Nicholas with which rapper was denied bond.
Rapper Gucci Mane made his first court appearance Wednesday on charges of aggravated assault and aggravated battery in connection with an alleged attack at an Atlanta nightclub. Mane, whose real name is Roderick Davis, was denied bond and will remain in a Fulton County jail until April 10th. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department will investigate battery allegations against Justin Bieber. On Tuesday, Bieber allegedly got into an intense and eventually physical argument with a neighbor. The neighbor apparently came onto Bieber's Los Angeles property, and according to a spokesperson, Bieber made physical contact with him, prompting the neighbor to file a battery report.
New details emerged on what happened when Osama bin Laden was shot. A third member of SEAL Team 6 came forward with the details about bin Laden's death. On May 1st, 2011, SEAL Team 6 raided the al-Qaeda leader's compound in Pakistan. The details are conflicting in the new SEAL's book, No Easy Day, and reported in the Esquire magazine, and the main disagreement is about the bin Laden researching for a firearm. A mysterious death occurs on a Royal Caribbean cruise on Sunday in a 64-year-old Virginian woman, which was found dead inside of her cabin aboard of the Enchantment of the Seas. The company said that her husband found her dead. The couple was on a 6-night and 7-day cruise to Florida and the Bahamas.
On Tuesday, a Florida duplex was evacuated because of a sinkhole. In Seffner, Florida, a 37-year-old man was swallowed by a sinkhole 1 month ago. 3 miles away from the sinkhole, a duplex was evacuated after the floor buckled and walls cracked. Officials say the soil around the home was soft. The American Red Cross is assisting the displaced families in finding a place to stay. Now here's Allison Mastrangelo with what duties the Pope will have on Easter. Allison?
All right. So the duties that the Pope has, Easter is one of the most important holidays for the Catholic Church. We're going to hear a little bit more about it later from Christina, but I'm going to go into his first stop was at the Juvenile Detention Center in Northwest Rome, where he washed the feet of 12 young prisoners. And then he also had a meeting with others at the gym, in the detention center.
Now, what does the washing of the prisoners' feet represent?
It commemorates the Last Supper that Jesus had. It's portrayed in the New Testament prior to his crucifixion. During the meal, Jesus washed the feet of the disciples.
On what side note are there common food meals on Easter around the world?
Easter is the end of Lent season, so a very popular food is lamb or goat. And since it's the end of Lent, everyone wants to indulge in those foods that they may have not been able to eat, and it's also a time to share with family and friends as well.
Are there any other duties that Pope Francis must perform leading up to Easter?
Yes, there are a few more ceremonies making the story about Jesus' death and resurrection, which are scheduled throughout the weekend. On Good Friday evening, the Pope will carry a huge wooden cross that lights the sky, and then he'll give a blessing at the end at the Colosseum, commemorating Jesus' crucifixion. And then on Saturday evening, Pope Francis will celebrate the main Easter Vigil Mass in St. Peter's Basilica. And then finally on Easter Sunday, the new Pope will deliver their first message to the city of Rome and to the world as the new Pope. And then Easter is a very busy holiday for the new Pope, so he'll do other things after the ceremony with so other cardinals and things like that.
Thank you, Allison.
You're welcome.
Thank you. North Dakota bans abortion. The state Republican Governor Jack Zell-Rampa signed a legislation on Tuesday making North Dakota the most restrictive state on abortion rights. The new legislation bans the abortion of the unborn fetus as the fetus heartbeat that can be detected. This can occur as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. Another ban was also passed on abortions of the unborn children with genetic defects such as Down syndrome. These measures will take place in part to shut down the state's only abortion clinic in Fargo. They will go into effect in August 1st.
Facebook promises a 22% increase in Facebook ads. Facebook is obtaining purchasing habits through Datalogics, one of the largest companies that offer integrated database marketing and digital media. Their goal is to obtain audience purchasing information to increase online and offline sales. The LAPD gained access to personal tape recordings involving Charles Manson. The tapes are recordings of Manson follower Charles Tex Watson and his late attorney. Investigators believe the tapes might hold clues to unsolved killings.
For the first time in 76 years, there will not be any human toll collectors on the Golden Gate Bridge. The humans have been replaced by cheaper and faster electronic transporters that will take a picture of your license plate when they drive through the toll. The big change is expected to improve traffic flow. Coming up, find more about the dead bodies found in Mexico and learn more about how Oscar Pistorius can travel back outside of the country.
Thanks, guys. 7 bodies sat slumped in white plastic chairs placed near a central plaza in Uruapan, Mexico. Local media reported messages were left behind, written on poster board and pinned to the victims' bodies with ice picks. The men appeared to have been killed by gunfire, and investigators believed organized crime groups are to blame. South African track star Oscar Pistorius, charged with murder of shooting of his girlfriend, is once more allowed to travel overseas after a judge lifted a bail condition Thursday restricting his movements. Pope Francis will wash the feet of 12 prisoners at a youth detention center in Rome. As part of the Holy Thursday Mass, ahead of Easter, the Vatican said the act of foot washing at the Mass of the Lord's Supper is part of the Christian tradition that mirrors Jesus' washing of his disciples' feet. Francis' decision to celebrate the Mass with young offenders at the Casa del Marmo represents a break with tradition, but in step is record, and he is embracing simplicity and humility. This has been Christina Rodriguez for your World News Minute. Sending it back to you guys at the desk.
The cause of a fire in Kentucky is still unknown. On March 9th, a fire killed 2 adults and 5 children. State Fire Marshal Dick Brown says the fire was accidental and that arson and foul play were ruled out. Coming up, Katie has more information on the Phillies and the Flyers.
Thanks, guys. The Flyers are well aware of how buried they are in the Eastern Conference playoffs. After the hockey team's 5-2 loss to the New York Rangers on Tuesday night, left-wing Flyer Scott Hartnell describes the defeat as demoralizing. The Flyers are now 7 points out of the 8th and final playoff spot with 16 games left in the season. The Phillies are ready for opening day, but will the weather be? Fans plan to crowd Citizens Bank Park on April 5th to watch the Phils take on the Kansas City Royals for the first game of the season. They will be pleased to know Mother Nature must be a baseball fan, as the forecast calls for bright sunshine and a temperature of 60 degrees. So play ball. Back to you at the desk.
A 21-year-old man from Michigan was on his way to the bank and along with the way saved the life of a newborn baby. The father flagged down Ryan to help his new wife and his newborn baby who was not breathing. Ryan performed CPR and the lifeless child until the baby started breathing on her own. The baby is doing great but still remains in the hospital.
Coming up, let's see if there is warm weather in our forecast for Easter weekend.
Thank you, and let's take a look at the weather right now. Outside it is cloudy and 50 degrees. Today's high was 52 with a low of 34. And let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. On Friday, it will be partly cloudy with a high of 54 and low of 34. Saturday will be sunny with a high of 54 and low of 34. Easter Sunday is going to be filled with rain with a high of 57 and low of 43. Monday will be partly cloudy with a high of 61 and a low of 37. And Tuesday is partly cloudy with a high of 46 and a low of 32. Now, let's take a look at the weather window. Looking outside, it's very cloudy out today. So, Tyler and Rob, what are your plans for Easter?
I don't really even know yet. I haven't made any definite plans, but I'm off of work, so I can pretty much do whatever comes up.
That's a start. And Tyler, what about you?
I'm just going home with friends and family and just, eating, having fun, spending time with everybody.
Spending holiday time with the family. Very nice.
Sure. What about you?
I'll be going home to Ocean City to spend it with my family.
Great.
Good. Great. Thanks for watching the Rowan National Rundown. I'm Tyler Edwards.
And I'm Rob Cunningham. Have a great night.